Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Dominic from the Primetime Treasure eBay store and YouTube channel. It's early on a Saturday morning. I was headed over to an estate sale, and I'm into development where the estate sale is supposed to be. And I stopped off at a sign that I'm going to show you in a second that says rummage sale, but it's not really a rummage sale, and I thought it was a good chance to just talk about some terminology for a second. So I will turn this camera around and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, well, the sun is kind of glaring on this sign, but as you can see there, it says rummage sale. And if you look at the entire sale, this looks every bit like your average garage sale. This is not a rummage sale. A rummage sale is typically an event that takes place in a church or in a bigger facility, sometimes an outdoors area, parking lot, where there's tables and tables and tables set up where you could pick and pull items. Not something this small. So sometimes people could use misleading terms. Sometimes people even use the word estate sale for a sale like this, and it's not. So, you know, if you're running sales, just be careful that you are using the right terminology so as not to mislead people, because there will be people disappointed if they see this advertised as a rummage sale and they come and this is what they say. Okay, so here we have one of these play mats for $1. Definitely a good purchase to pick up. It's relatively small compared to the other ones that I've recently purchased, but still, it's definitely a nice pickup for $1. So definitely gonna grab this one. So yet another frustrating experience with mislabeling of the type of sale that's going on. This is why I came out here. This was labeled as a bargain hunter's dream and estate sale. And all it is a bunch of junky stuff on the driveway, and there's some stuff inside, and that's it. So it's really just a garage sale. So just as I suspected, lots of junky material, nothing good for resale, a lot of children's books that were damaged, lots of toys that were damaged, just really nothing good. But fortunately, across the street right here, there is a garage sale that I did not know of was going to be here. So I'm going to check that out, see if there's anything there. Looks like that one might be a bit more promising. So let's see what we can find there. I don't want to film it because there's a couple of kids sitting right there doing a lemonade stand, and I don't want to get in trouble on YouTube by filming them and putting them on it. So we'll just walk up, and if I find anything good, I'll turn the camera on. This thing is really interesting. Has a really cool vintage look. It folds in together. I'm not exactly sure what it is, besides the obvious that it's like holds things for storage, like yarn and things like that. It does close in together. It's only $5. It's obviously a bit heavy, but just, you know, it's big and bulky. So it would have to sell well for me to pick this up. Like, I'd like to see some kind of comps on it, but it does have a vintage kind of look to it. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into this a little more, try to figure out exactly what this is. These are definitely good items. These are Franz Joseph bottles. So I'm gonna pick these up. You could sell these for $20 a piece, and they're only $1. So yeah, I did pick these up at $1 a piece. They go for about $20 or more online pretty easily. These are old vintage German bottles. The reason I was able to get them for that price is because the person who was selling them, it wasn't theirs. It was the possession of the person who used to live in the house who left it there. It was an old German man, and she said she had no use for these anymore, so she's just getting rid of them. They were just taking up space. A neighbor apparently came over yesterday and said, "Don't sell them, they're worth something." And she said, "Well, you know what? I have no use for them, so I'm just gonna sell them." And this is that item that I showed you earlier when it's closed up. As you could see from the side, there is a clasp. The clasp does work to close the item. You just flick it open like that, and then we'll open it up and show you what I showed you before, which is that this is exactly what it looked to be. It is a vintage wooden sewing case. I really like the background. I think that's a good selling point, and that has matching baskets. You know, you could see here, it just has all these little baskets like I showed earlier, and underneath here, as you can see, there's a little spot for jars, so you could hang jars. These little holes here, they are pre-drilled if you'd like to put some nails in there or some pegs that could hold spools of thread. These wooden vintage sewing cases, they're not good comps for them online, although there isn't one that looks exactly like this. All the ones online have a non-vintage looking background. They don't have any of that green display back there. They're just plain and wooden. So I'm not exactly sure how this one would do. I really bought it more for my wife, Mrs. Primetime, who loves this type of stuff. So I'm going to give it to her initially, and then eventually if she wants to get rid of it or something, we could try to flip it somewhere. But I just figured it was good to just show you the item, just to kind of learn together on it, because it's not something I've seen before, and it's a good example of how you have to sometimes research stuff. And not only research stuff, but finding more about it was just talking to the lady who owned it, and she said she was an older woman. She got it a long time ago through an auction. So it's definitely a cool vintage piece. Hey, what do you know? A garage sale sign, and it's actually a garage sale. So we'll go and check it out and see if there's anything in this one. Skylanders. So wow, that worked out really well. When the sale is actually what it's labeled to be, turns out that was good luck today. I wound up picking up all of these toys. Now, if you haven't seen these before, these are called Skylanders. They all have this little base on the bottom, and they're for playing a video game called Skylanders, which you could play through the Wii or through PlayStation 4 or Xbox. And basically these customizable figures fit into game slots, and then you could use these characters, and these will sell in big lots on eBay for over $100 if you could get big enough lots of them. Now, the reason why I normally don't get Skylander figures is because when I find them at sales, I normally find them that the people are charging anywhere between $1 to $5 a piece, sometimes even more for them. So you gotta source them low if you're gonna flip them well. But when I saw all of these marked at 50 cents a piece, and then I saw that they had Skylander game sets like this. Now they're pre-owned, but all the proper pieces are there, plus the game. And then I saw that the Disney Infinity figures, which are larger, but go for obviously the Disney Infinity game. Those were also marked at 50 cents a piece, and we've got Star Wars characters in here. And then over here, there's just more Skylanders games as well, and Skylanders cards. I mean, there's just tons of stuff here. You know, here's another Skylanders game for Nintendo 3DS. So it was just so much stuff. So I asked her how much she would do for everything. She went in, she talked to her husband, she came back out. Now I was thinking in my head, I'd love to get all this stuff for 40. If I did, it would be a great deal. And she comes out and she says, how about 40 for everything? And it was totally fair. So I said, absolutely. Yeah, we'll do $40. So loaded up the car. Made a little joke. Mrs. Primetime loves owls, and so I asked if she would throw this in for me. She said yes. So Miss Primetime's going to be really happy today when I come back with all this stuff, and she sees I got her a few presents. That's the key, folks. If you have reselling spouses, is make sure you pick some gifts up for them once in a while. It definitely cheers them up and makes them feel good. Moving on. All right, another little garage sale here. Looks like there's actually two of them side by side. So we'll jump over there, see if there's anything good underneath those tents and inside that garage. So I found one good thing there, the item I just showed you, which is this handbag here with the palm trees on it. This is a type of item you definitely want to pick up for several reasons. One, it's light and very easy to ship, goes out first class, only costs you a couple bucks. Two, it's a handbag. Women love handbags. They're always looking for these smaller handbags like that too. Always make sure you test the zipper. Make sure that that works, because you don't want to wind up purchasing something with a broken zipper that you discover later. The other thing is that it has palm trees on it and a beach theme, and there are plenty of people out there who love palm trees and love beach themes. So if you could source something like this for $1, you definitely should do so. because this is something you can flip for anywhere between $15 to $20. So that's that item, and I'm going to move on to the next one. Remember, don't always look for that every single time you go to a sale. It has to be something that you're going to make $100 on. Those little $15, $20 flips that you get for $1, that's a bread and butter of your business a lot of times, and that will just keep you going, making sales, keep that cash flow coming in. It adds up, great profit over time. So I have a little get together that I'm going to today around 3 o'clock. Right now it's about 12:30, so I want to make sure I bring something over to the house and do a little multitasking, because where I was sourcing is actually where my wholesale store is that I go to buy food and groceries, that sort of thing. It's called Costco in our area. You probably have something in your area similar, BJ's, Sam's Club, that sort of thing. Anyway, so I went there and picked up a big giant apple pie to bring over. Thing is like monstrous. So while I was there, though, I'm hungry. It's around 12 o'clock. So if you can, if you're getting hungry, rather than stopping off somewhere else to get something, you could plan that at those types of places. They have like the most amazing free samples that you could get. So I had pizza, cheeseburger, meatballs, I had chicken enchilada, toast, soup, you name it. I mean, drinks. It was crazy. I mean, I literally had like a full lunch there. So membership does have its perks, and if you could take advantage of that once in a while, that's good. It just saves you some time and also saves you some money. So all that stuff is just comes with the price of membership. So anyway, just wanted to pass it on to you. Going to try to hit up a few more sales before I get back home, because I have to get ready to go out to this person's house. So let's see if we get anything else. I love garage sales in these older homes that look like this. Usually always find something good. Let's check it out. How much are the plushes?
The prices?
Yeah, the plushes on these things. Like, how much are these?
$4 each.
Okay. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you wear them right here.
How you doing, Kim? How you doing? Good.
Straps on it for his arms. Pretty cool. So this is why I always say check the plushes. If you could source a giant 48-inch winged pterodactyl for $25, you totally should do that. This is designed for kids. They put their hands or arms through these straps, and they could use them for Halloween like this. They put their arms on there like that, and then they kind of pretend they're flying like a pterodactyl. So it's pretty cool. And plus they could just play with it too, downstairs with their monsters and toys. So green, monstrous kind of toys, plush toys like this, like alligators, if they're large like this, they sell well. The cheapest you could find this available online with watchers is $34.99. More realistically, it probably will sell somewhere in around the $20 range, but could even be something to hold on to around Halloween, but I don't think I need to do that. That's a good pickup for $25. It's light enough that it still will ship first class. Okay, this may be the last sale of the day that I go to, because I've got to get ready to go out a little bit later this afternoon. But this looks like a promising one, this yard sale, a lot of stuff on the tables and on the driveway. So I'm gonna go poke around there, see if I can find anything worth picking up. Nope, nothing there. Just a quick reminder that you don't find everything every single time. So there was something there I was looking at. It was a New Orleans decanter, but turns out after I searched the comps that it's not something that actually sells. Well, this sale's not even advertised, but it looks promising. There looks like all sorts of little knickknacks there on the driveway, so I'm gonna go up there, see if I can find anything good. Well, if you love frogs, this is the place for you. Ribbit. So I'm about to leave the sale after I see those frogs, because there really wasn't too much else there. And I look underneath the table of where they're checking out, and I see something. I see this giant bag filled with something I am going to have to show you in a moment. We actually took everything out of the bag after a period of negotiation. We broke it down into 3 bags. This is the second one here, and the third one is even bigger, and I cannot believe what I found. So I will tell you that what I found in those bags I've got for a total of $45, but I'm really going to have to get back to Primetime Treasure headquarters to deconstruct this for you, to show you what it is I found. So we'll do that a little bit later. Okay, so I am back at Primetime Treasure headquarters. I've had a chance to go through what was in those bags so I could just process it a little bit and make it easier for me to show you. It just would have been too difficult in the Primetime Treasure mobile. There's just so much stuff. It was so crammed. Plus, I had to get home because we had to get to a get-together, which I had a great time. But now it's time to get back to work and start working on this this haul that I just obtained. So what caught my eye when I was walking out was there's this giant bag. It was like a big duffel bag, and it was just filled with overflowing stuff, and it was all stuff that was related to one another. I'm going to show it to you in a second. The thing that caught my eye was this. Let me show it to you. It's a red item, and if you saw something like this peeking out, you may know that that is a Nintendo Wii. Now, normally I pass on Nintendo Wiis because they are so plentiful at garage sales. You see them all the time. It's hard to know if they work. Of course, you could go plug it into an outlet, but then you don't really know if it would actually work if you plugged it into a television set. And just because they're so plentiful, I normally pass them up. Unless there were a lot of accessories and games and stuff that came with it, then I might be more interested and investigate further whether or not it was a worthy investment. But this jumped out at me because it's the red version, and the red version is much more difficult to come by. This is the 25th anniversary edition, and so that caught my eye, and I said, you know, let me take a look at this. And this is what I mean, like all these wires I had to untangle because they were all these things I'm going to show you were all entangled together. So I actually did not untangle most of it. My wife, Mrs. Primetime, helped me out with that, and my daughter, Little Miss Primetime, they were really helpful while I was doing some other things, taking care of that so I could sort through it easier. So I saw that, and then the other thing that jumped out at me that really made me look into this a little bit more was what I have here. Now, if you saw this, would you know what this is, and would you think that you should pick it up? If you see here, it does say WD on it, which is the name of the company. Let me see if I can get it better in the light there for you. WD. This is a company that makes hard drives. So this is an external hard drive. And according to the owners, what is on this hard drive is literally every single Nintendo Wii game up until 2013 or 2014, which is the last time that they used it. This thing cost hundreds of dollars when it was given to them as a present. This type of thing does not come cheap. If you want to see what I'm talking about, pause this video. If you're watching this anywhere close to when I made this, which is August 5th, 2018, and go online and type in Nintendo Wii, or just type in Wii, W-I-I, WD hard drive. And you'll see that there is one that's similar to this. It has more storage space on it, but it doesn't even work. So it's for parts only, but it has all the games on there. So someone's going to want to try to buy it to see if they could fix it. It's priced at $700 and has 9 watchers. That's crazy. That tells me that there's, now this, at least I know that it works right now because I was able to plug it in with the jack, and it does turn on, it does work. These are supposedly notorious for having problems in terms of failing as a hard drive, but this one did not get hot or anything when I turned on. The problem is I don't have the proper USB connector right now, so I can't tell if all the games are on it. So there was a bit of a risk involved, but I'll tell you that's one reason I took the risk, and I'll tell you what I paid for it in a few minutes. But I took that risk because if it works, that's going to be a huge payoff. Plus, you know, this is going to be a nice payoff too. We're talking, you know, total, when I show you this entire collection, there's the potential for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars here. Other things that came with it were all sorts of accessories, like, for example, This is the battery charger for the remote controls for the Wii remote, so that came in there. There's this sharp, some kind of like alarm clock. This is just kind of like a random item that just kind of wound up in there, so I don't know. I got to look into that. But you know, these things too, like this is called the nunchuck. And this is something that you use for the Wii. There's people who have this, it broke, and they want to replace it. So you could just sell this, ship this first class as a replacement nunchuck. I have Wii systems in my house for my kids and for myself, play it once in a while. So I could easily test these out to see if they work. So that's the good thing about having video game systems around. Then there's the red one, which goes with that. Unfortunately, the person broke the red controller that went with it, or lost it, but they do have two other controllers, and one of them is a different color. I'll show that to you later. There's other cables here that, you know, I could just use and you know, to test things out, so it's good that I have those. In terms of other accessories, there's an HDMI cable that came with it. There's all of these accessories, which are for one of the tennis games on the Wii. So I've got that. I could just sell that if I want to. Here's a base that holds the Wii in it right there. So you know, someone might be missing that, need that as a replacement. Or obviously I could just sell it and package it with the actual Wii system. This is what I was talking about in terms of that there are remote controls that are different colors. This is one of them. This actually is just a regular standard color, but at least I've got two, and that'd be a selling point if they both work. That we've got two remotes that I could sell with that system. Then there's a gun. It's this assembles together, and you use this gun to play shooting games on the Wii, and there actually are games that came with this. I don't know if this is part of the gun or not. I've got to look into that a little bit later. I assume that it is. So there's that. Then there's this is something that I don't know if I'm gonna toss it. Oh, actually, it looks pretty good. This is something that fits to protect the remote, so you put it inside of it. It's like a little plastic covering, so people like those, so I have that as well. Then there's just some random kind of energizer things in here. I'm not exactly sure what they are, have to look into that later. And then there were a few random movies thrown in this bag. I you know, nothing that I'm probably gonna do too much with, but things like how many of you are dying to see this? House Bunny, The Vow, and American Pie. That's probably the most popular one that's in there. This one, I don't know. This might have some appeal to a hunter or something, Whistling Wings, so some duck thing. But that's not really what. That's just kind of extra stuff. Whatever. I don't really care about that. What I'm mostly happy about is that it came with all these games, and the games that it came with are pretty good. I mean, I've already tested some of them out, and they work, and they're in good condition. So we've got a hunting game here. There's a roller coaster ride that's upstairs because my son's gonna play that today, Primetime Junior, while I'm out. We've got this here. This is a baseball game. We've got The Price is Right. We've got Just Dance 3. We've got Monster High. We've got you know, Monopoly. We've got Game Party, so lots of good family games. Super Mario Brothers Wii, I mean, when this came out new, this was like 60 bucks. But you know, right now, even something like this will sell for like anywhere between like $15 to $20 pre-owned. So keep that in mind when I tell you how much I got all this stuff for. This is another game, the World Championships. Here's another hunting game, so I could package this together with a gun. Let's see. Oh, we have another movie thrown in here. We've got Shrek. We've got Just Dance 4, so I could combine that with Just Dance 3. We've got a pet one. We've got Super Paper Mario. That's a popular game. Anytime you get any Mario stuff. Got a Monster Truck game. We Play. All this stuff has the, you know, all the instructions in it. A couple more things. I've got Madden. Winter sports, and you know, some girly kind of thing, so I can make like a little girly lot of games, so that's fine. So I'll make my money back just with the games alone if I want to sell the games. But how much did I get all this stuff for? I just asked her how much she wanted for everything, and she said $50. And that's not a bad price at all if I would have got everything for $50. But I want to minimize my investment risk, and so I asked her if she would do 40 on it, but she said no way, because just the hard drive alone is potentially worth hundreds of dollars. She didn't use the word potentially, she said is worth, but I say potentially because I have to first find out if it works. I know it powers up, but I have to hook it up to a system to check that it has all those games on it. Anyway, so she ultimately agreed to do $45, meet in the middle, so $45 for all this stuff. And the reason I took the risk again is because there's potential for really big payoff if these electronics actually work when I hook them up. But even if they don't work, I still will make my money back with the accessories and the games, and I'll still make a profit. So that's the kind of thing you have to take into consideration when you're making a purchase like this. You don't want to just buy like a Wii system that you have not tested and that you basically have no way to know whether or not it's working. That, especially with electronics, I will not generally buy electronics unless I've tested them. But this is an exception because of how much stuff is in this bundle. And like I said, I already know I can make profit even if those things don't work. So if they work, that's obviously a huge bonus, and I'm hoping that they do. So we will see. I have to get a investor, look around, see if I have a proper USB port to connect that to my to the devices, and then I got to test this Wii later. So that's pretty much it. That's it for the haul video for today. I hope you enjoyed all of the things that I found. It's crazy. I mean, just remember that Skylanders haul that I have. I mean, we're just looking through that, and it's absolutely insane how much stuff is in there. I can't believe it, for $40. So 2 big hauls in one day. Both for around the same price range, around that $40, $45 price range, plus all the other cool things that I found. So I'm excited, and that was a relatively limited amount of time that I was out, and plus I didn't even really get to spend the whole day out because, again, I had to cut it short a bit. But the irony of it is that little backstory to where I found all this stuff with the Wii material is that I was actually going somewhere to pick up some drinks and some soft drinks and stuff to bring over to this friend's house of mine that I was going to. And I was going to go in one direction, go to a different place, but I said, nah, this other place has more selection. And I wound up seeing that right next to this convenience store, there was a garage sale. It was not advertised. It wasn't on Yard Sale Treasure Map. It was nowhere on my list. It was just random. They just put up a sign, said garage sale. It was right off of Main Street, so they were just banking that anyone who drove by and saw it, would stop by, and that they didn't have to advertise because they already had steady traffic flow. So worked out. It was towards the end of the day too, so that was why they were motivated to sell it. It was around 2 o'clock-ish when I bought it. So I'm really happy. So hopefully you liked this video. If you did, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you have not done so yet. Make sure that you drop a comment or a question if you have one, and always remember to come by. You are welcome to my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. The link to that is down below, so hopefully you'll consider coming and joining that. With that, I've got to get ready because I have 2 estate sales I've got to get ready to go to in a few hours. So, and I got to process this video, edit, hopefully get it up this morning. So I've got a lot of work to do, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.